Hello everybody, welcome to theTUBE. A lot is going on. Here's our lineup. Is Hillary Clinton prepared to fight the tech world over encryption? Why does Google want you to stream your phone applications? Can Facebook help you erase your annoying ex from your life? Did Samsung win the virtual reality race by being first to market? And what are Microsoft and Volvo planning for the future of car sales? Stay with us, let's go. The war on encryption continues. Just before the weekend started, Hillary Clinton condemned tech companies' refusal to weaken their encryption to make law enforcement and counter-terrorism investigations easier for the government. The Democratic presidential frontrunner said at the Council on Foreign Relations in New York that, let's quote, "We need our best minds in the private sector to work with our best minds in the public sector to develop solutions that will both keep us safe and protect our privacy." Although there's no evidence attackers used encryption to hide their conversations from authorities, the aftermath of the Paris attacks sees politicians quickly jumping on the incident to make their case for mandatory backdoors. Disappointing, though not surprising. Last week, we reported about Google's new experiment letting Android users stream a select handful of apps through mobile search without actually downloading them. Now the experiment has begun. Google is letting users stream apps straight from their Google app, no downloading required. For the first phase of the experiment, Google has partnered with 9 apps and indexed all the information on those apps into their servers. For example, if you search for hotels in Poughkeepsie, Google will now pull app-only content from Hotel Tonight and then let you find and book an hotel without ever downloading the actual app. Why is this small thing so important? Well, let's watch a new ad Google made with the help of Star Wars geeks to see their philosophy for the mobile web before we talk some more.
Fans,
Star
get
Wars
ready.
is back.
Star Wars
Mania
battle between the dark and the light side of the Force.
With me in the studio to talk a little bit about all this is Shai Ringel. Good evening.
Good evening.
So why is this important? I mean, what are Google trying to achieve?
They're trying to make apps a web thing, which means that because Google kinda own the web these days, and because of when I need to ask a question, the first site I'll probably ask it to is Google. Google wants to take a lot more of information from a lot of more apps. They don't want me to go to, an app like IMDb and search for the information there. IMDb is owned by Amazon. They much preferred me to ask Google first. So the idea is that Google will take all the information from a lot of apps and will say, okay, you no longer have to do this, annoying thing of downloading an app, and I'll have everything, and all you need to do is an access to the web.
Yeah, but what if Google swallows the whole app ecosystem? I mean, what good can that do for tech?
That is probably what they want to do eventually. I don't know if it's good for tech. It's very good for Google. It's a very interesting idea because we've been talking about the fact that computers will be on servers and not on our own devices. They'll be on this very remote server, and my phone will be just an access point to that computer who sits on that server. And Google is taking another step in that direction, and they're saying you no longer have to download your favorite apps. They will work on your phone just by entering the Google app. The Google app will now become the main app. When you enter Google app, you also get information you didn't ask for, but Google thinks that you need to know. And now they'll also have apps that you use.
But why would commercial apps cooperate with that? I mean, isn't their whole business model based on the download rate?
For the first level of the phase, the first phase of this experiment, Google will try to make it with free apps. And later on, you will pay for access for information. But this is just the first phase of things. It will do it for free information. The key here is not the apps that cost us money and do, all sorts of things. The key here is information, apps that has an information about a hotel you need here, about a movie that you want to know the cast there. And instead of, downloading specific apps for that, Google are saying, look, question is question no matter where. Just ask it on our site and we'll take the information you need from whatever app it's on.
Interesting, because up until recently, we thought that apps are going to kill the web. Does that mean that it's going to happen the other way around? Is the web going to kill the apps?
Yeah, the web is kind of trying to kill the apps. The web is very sophisticated these days. HTML5 really took off, and when you enter a mobile website, it's already kind of working like an app on itself. So the web is becoming much more sophisticated in that matter, and it's becoming much more like apps. So now Google will have the opportunity to try and make real apps stream exactly like sites do.
Thank you very much, Aringel.
Thank you.
Okay, if you are in the middle of a breakup, Facebook wants to help. The social media network has introduced new tools to help former lovers get over each other as they try to surf Facebook without seeing that special someone who broke their hearts. If that reminds us of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, well, that's because it just does. More on this in this next report from ABC News.
Breaking up can be hard to do.
According to Facebook, your ex-girlfriend Becca just got engaged.
And being bombarded on Facebook by happy pictures, posts, and news about a heartbreaking ex can just make it worse.
I didn't want to see him.
I just see things on my ex's feeds that I just don't want to see.
How would they pop up on my feed? It's pretty weird.
But this morning, Facebook is hoping to ease the pain, launching a new set of tools dubbed Take a Break, letting users wipe their romantic slate clean with just the push of a button. Now, when you change your status from in a relationship to single, it'll automatically give you an option to remove your exes from your newsfeed, untag yourself from old photos, and prevent your exes from seeing any of your updates, all without having to unfriend or block them. In a blog post, the social media giant writing, "We hope these tools will help people end relationships on Facebook with greater ease, comfort, and sense of control." For some, it's a long overdue feature for the site, which practically invented the relationship status.
In the digital age, what this is like getting rid of that box of stuff or hiding some of the photos.
In the social network, even the Hollywood version of founder Mark Zuckerberg couldn't avoid his ex online.
More than 1 billion people use Facebook every day now, and it's kind of ingrained in like how we communicate.
And as many prepare for the upcoming holiday season, perhaps this tool can help X one person off their list.
Facebook is smart to roll this out now because we're actually kicking off breakup season. The weeks before Thanksgiving is the time that a number of breakups happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first next generation virtual reality headset up for commercial sale. Woohoo! Samsung finally released its new Samsung Gear VR to the stores, the first consumer version virtual reality headset. You can pick up right now, but not on Amazon or eBay because it already sold out. A new commercial for the Gear VR, now on screen, makes virtual reality seem less like a geeky hobby and more like a step into next-gen mainstream entertainment. The first waves of reviews are positive, with critics saying that although it can compete with PC-powered machines such as the Oculus Rift, for $99 it's the next best thing, with the Wall Street Journal saying that this is Samsung's Atari moment, which means this newspaper is old. Good news, car lovers, because of augmented reality, buying a car is going to become a much more complicated and techie task. Microsoft and Volvo introduced a new partnership developing new software for the HoloLens to design your own car. Starting next year, Volvo will be able to showcase things not usually possible to demo instantly and indoors, like its car's safety features through holographs. Participants will be able to customize the car's color and bumper and walk around the holograph to see the car from all angles. According to Bloomberg, the two companies could even include the capability to sit inside an actual vehicle and take it for an AR test drive. Fasten your seatbelts, this is how it will look like.
The HoloLens is a device that you put on your head, and it doesn't intrude in any of the things you do, but it also extends the realities around you.
You can do something you could never do before. You can see the soul of the car. You can strip the body out and stay with the skeleton, and you can play around with it.
The HoloLens can allow our customers to see features, colors, options. So rather than working on the computer, seeing things, you can be part of the experience.
No one understands how car sensors actually works today. Through the HoloLens, you can see how the car perceives you. And then you give me as a human being the vantage point of a sensor. It helps to build a much better trust in this type of systems.
For example, you see a car coming in front of you.
I wonder if I'll ever buy a car. Maybe someday. Now it's time to see the light, the invention of the world's first white laser, which could revolutionize communication, lighting, and displays, is being recognized as one of the top 100 breakthroughs of the year by Popular Science magazine. The breakthrough came from Arizona State University School of Engineering, where scientists came up with a semiconductor laser that can operate across the entire visible color spectrum. According to researchers, the laser has a 70% greater color range, enabling more accurate and vivid screens. In addition, it could be used for a light-based version of Wi-Fi, 10 times faster than what we've got today. Here's the Arizona University team trying to explain what a white laser is. Hint, it's white.
Those three elementary colors, red, green, blue. So therefore, by having separately red, green, blue in a lasing mode, and then when you tune the relative intensity of those three colors, you can change the overall appearance of the color when you combine the lights. So therefore, you can imagine you can produce a laser that emits all three colors, but when they combine them together, you form a white color, white appearance. So therefore, you can actually make a white laser, which sounds in the first place counterintuitive, but is scientifically, technologically possible. And now you can imagine whatever you use, multi-wavelength light source, or use white light to do all the other things like display, lighting, you can do similar things with our white lasers.
Sorry, still didn't really get it, people of the white light, but I'll Google it. It looks cool. Yeah, okay. Injuries, well, they're a pretty serious thing. The movie Home Alone is not. So here are some real physicians looking at Home Alone and talking about the real damage those injuries had. Bad people, they hurt too.
Be a good little fella now and open the door.
If you get shot in the groin with a BB gun, you're gonna have some serious genital trauma.
Maybe even a rupture there, which may affect the swimmers down the line. I don't know what treatment is for ruptured nutsack. Bed rest, ice, a bag of peas.
All right. Daniel Stern. Oh, classic fall down the stairs. This is why I can't watch action movies anymore. You don't get up from a fall like that.
Concentrated a lot of his damage or injuries to the lower thoracic and lower lumbar. He could have issues with bladder control at that point.
Busted ribs, pulmonary contusion, splenic laceration, kidney injuries.
Peeing and pooping from bags, pushed around in wheelchairs in some sort of chronic care facility.
Isn't reality lovely? Now, the second Democratic database. Okay, sorry, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new show of The Tube, i24news.tv. That is our website. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow.